Hey guys, let me start off by apologizing for how late this Hell in a Cell video is getting up onto my website and onto YouTube. Had a busy week, did not have time to film it. It's currently the Sunday after Hell in a Cell, so that's the first time I've been able to actually sit down and film this video. So I do apologize that this video is getting up so late, but without any further ado, let's break down Hell in a Cell 2019. The show started off with the kickoff show match, Lacey Evans versus Natalya. Pretty much this is like your standard match on a kickoff show. Pretty much the only highlights here. Evans missed on a moonsault, and Natalya was able to capitalize that, put Evans in a sharpshooter, make Evans tap out, and after that, and to kind of like play off Lacey Evans' history of hitting the woman's right, Natalya ended up hitting Lacey Evans after the match with a right hand of her own. After that, we had Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch in a Hell in a Cell match for the Raw Women's Championship. And this was a fantastic match. Probably the best match on the card in my opinion. Great way to start the show, the main show. These two women were going at it with everything they could find. Lots of weapons were in play here. Banks and Lynch actually started before the cell was actually lowered all the way to the ground. That allowed Banks to get an early advantage over Becky Lynch. They had like a bunch of innovative use with the weapons as well. So Becky Lynch ended up setting up these Singapore canes or kendo sticks in the corner of the cell. Put a chair on top of this kendo sticks, put Banks on top of the chair, and then ran out the apron and just hit a drop kick that looked very painful onto Banks, on the chair, on the kendo sticks, on the cell. Very cool spot. And then later, Banks hit a Meteora to Becky Lynch through a table. That was really cool. In the end, it was Becky Lynch who got the win here. She hit a Bexploder from the top rope onto a pile of chairs, and then later made Banks submit to the disarmer. Very, very good match. Best match on the card, in my opinion. A great way to start the show. Hell in a Cell is firing on all cylinders at this point. First match in, great way to get the audience in, keep their attention. Just a fun, brutal match between two of WWE's best women on the roster today. After that, we had Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus the Bludgeon Brothers in a Tornado Tag Team match. This was another fun match. A lot of chaos throughout. There are some really good spots. Rowan actually rammed a piece of the barricade into Roman Reigns, which was pretty funny. Just shows off the strength of Eric Rowan. Harper would later. Reigns actually ended up spearing Roman Reigns ended up spearing Eric Rowan. Rowan speared Rowan through an announce table. That was a very cool spot. And then Harper hit a top rope set powerbomb to Daniel Bryan inside the ring, which looked very painful. But the Bludgeon Brothers could not overcome the team up of Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. It was a combination of Reigns' Superman punch to a Daniel Bryan running knee to a spear from Roman Reigns to Harper for the win. And in the end, kind of like a playoff or a callback to Team Hell No, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan hugged it out. Dr. Shelby was proud. George Kane was smiling as he watched Daniel Bryan hug it out with Roman Reigns. So very fun match. We were 2 for 2 with Hell in a Cell at this point. And then, in my opinion, the pay-per-view began a slow descent after that. After that, we had Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. It was a solid match, but when I was watching this, I thought this might be like a cool-down bout because the crowd just been jacked for 2 matches in a row. Orton ended up dropping Ali on the announce table, but Ali would later hit a sweet-looking Tornado DDT, but he would whiff on a 450 splash. Orton countered. Orton would go for an RKO, but Ali actually countered by hitting like a handstand, which was a really cool spot. Didn't matter. Orton ended up hitting another RKO on Mustafa Ali for the win. So yeah, Randy Orton got the win over Mustafa Ali. Not sure how I feel about that. I thought, having Ali win would be a big rub. Hopefully these two can continue to battle. I didn't get to watch SmackDown, so I don't know who was drafted to what brand. If they're still on the same brand, maybe they can continue this feud, and maybe Mustafa Ali can come out on the wing side of it. After that, we had Alexa Bliss and Nicky Cross defending the Women's Tag Team Championships against the Kabuki Warriors. This is like a standard match. Basically, the cool spot here was where Cross countered an elbow from Kairi Sane with her knees. But then the Kabuki Warriors actually showing some heel tendencies, paying homage to the Great Kabuki. I believe it was Asuka used the Green Mist on Nicky Cross. That allowed them to pick up the win and become the new Women's Tag Team Champions. So yeah, Bliss and Cross are dethroned. The Kabuki Warriors are now your Women's Tag Team Champions. Good to see WWE is finally using Kairi Sane and Asuka in a more prominent role on WWE television, giving the Women's Tag Team Championship belts. Hope you have some more interest to that division as a whole, because it's just seemingly playing hot potato at this point with the different team-ups that WWE is coming up with. Hopefully the Kabuki Warriors can become a legitimate, serious Women's Tag Team Champion, and elevate those titles. After that, we had the OC versus the Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman. This match was nothing special, really. Strowman did his shtick running around the ring, basically barreling in everybody who got in his way. Styles had Strowman and a calf crusher, and the OC actually teamed up on Strowman and was just beating him down for a DQ finish. Very, very lame in my opinion. There was some more action after that. The Viking Raiders ended up hitting a double spear on Gallows and Anderson, and Strowman would knock Styles out. Knock out Styles in midair. It looked like Styles was going to go for a phenomenal form, but Strowman just caught him with a fist to the face. And this was obviously setting up for Tyson Fury versus AJ Styles at the Crown Jewel event. And it was actually just made official this past Friday. After that, we had a segment backstage where Tamina won the 24/7 title during a Street Profits promo. So, the 24/7 title changed hands. And then we had Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin. Okay match. WWE is really trying to push the shorty gimmick with Chad Gable. Seemingly everybody who was referring to Chad Gable was referring to him his height or just calling him shorty. And Gable had a nice moonsault to ankle lock combo and kind of emerged from this bout looking like a star. Nobody likes Baron Corbin. He's king in the ring, so it's nice to see Chad Gable. It's an easy feud for Chad Gable, basically feuding with a king in the ring that nobody likes. He ended up getting the win here, but he would not get the last laugh. Later on backstage, Baron Corbin ended up jumping Chad Gable backstage and attacking him. So while Gable did get the win, Corbin got the last laugh. Doesn't look like this feud is over yet. After that, we had Charlotte versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. This was a very slow match. Did not really hold my attention that well. Flair had a busted mouth, and then Flair went for a moonsault, but Bayley countered with the knees. Bayley tried to pin Flair with the ropes, having her legs on the top rope, but the referee obviously saw it. But Flair would end up winning with a figure 8 to make Bayley submit, and then after the match, Bayley would go and throw a temper tantrum, I guess fully embracing the heel status that she currently has, and that was made evident. I saw a highlight from SmackDown where she came out and just started hacking up the waving inflatable arm flailing tube men that would accompany her entrance to the ring. So apparently she came out with like some pole or something, just hacking away at him. So Bayley's full-fledged heel. Charlotte won the title in a pretty boring match at Hell in a Cell. After that, we had The Fiend versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title inside Hell in a Cell, and yeah, where do you begin with this one? This is the match I was looking forward to the most on this card. I thought The Fiend was going to be coronated, crowned, emerge victorious as the Universal Champion. It's a way of saying this is our new Phenom. You know, The Undertaker, he's been the Phenom for close to 30 years now. He's on the twilight years of his career. He's pretty sure he should be retired. He's semi-retired already. This was Bray Wyatt's chance, the Fiend's opportunity to become that new mystical, scary, mysterious, supernatural beast that WWE has had over the past couple years. And it didn't happen. You know it's going to be a bad match when WWE decides to have the entire match in red lights. Now, I'm not talking about like on the entrance ramp, like the lights above the ring were red, and so everything inside the ring was red. It was like you were looking at the match through a virtual boy. It made things hard to see. Did not make sense. It was supposed to play up to the gimmick of, I guess, the Fiend. It reminded me of like a callback to when Kane made his debut in 1997, how they had those red lights on Kane's matches. But having red lights in a Hell in a Cell match when the actual cell is red just makes it even harder to see. It was a boneheaded move by WWE. The match itself, the Fiend ended up looking like dominant during this bout. He was taking kendo stick shots that didn't faze him at all. He ended up hitting a Sister Abigail on Rollins onto the side of the cell, but then Rollins would later hit a frog splash to the Fiend through a table, and the Fiend immediately got up after a curb stomp, and then Fiend, he later hit Sister Abigail on Rollins in the ring, but Rollins kicked out. And the Fiend got this massive, like this comically big, cartoonish sledgehammer, and was trying to use that as a weapon. But Rollins ended up curb stomping him onto that hammer, and then the Fiend would kick out after multiple curb stomps and a pedigree. Rollins was going crazy with these curb stomps, trying to keep the Fiend down, but he couldn't do it. The Fiend would later kick out after Rollins. He was laying on the ground. Rollins just had a chair and destroyed the Fiend's face with his chair shot. Smack dab, point blank range to the face. The Fiend kicked out. So then Rollins put the chair on the Fiend's head, got a ladder, and smashed the chair onto the Fiend's face. The Fiend kicked out again. He was later had the ladder on the chair and then got a toolbox and was slamming the toolbox onto the ladder, onto the chair, onto the Fiend's face. The Fiend was still not stay down. Okay, so if you're with me so far, he's used a chair, a ladder, kendo stick, and a toolbox. And the Fiend had a massive sledgehammer under the ring. But where WWE got WWE's way was with the ending of the smash. So Rollins gets a regular, normal size sledgehammer out from under the ring, the same sledgehammer that Triple H used. And so he was bringing it in the ring, was going to smash the Fiend's face with it. The referee says, "No, don't do that. This isn't you. Don't do it." Looks like Rollins is hesitating. They end up just smashing the sledgehammer onto the pile of chairs and ladders and toolbox on the Fiend's face. And the ref called for a bell, and that's how the match ended. And immediately, the crowd had turned on Rollins at this point. That's the curb stop because they wanted the Fiend to win. I wanted the Fiend to win. I like Rollins, but just the way he's being presented, and it's like he's going down that Roman Reigns route. The crowd senses it. They wanted the Fiend to win. They thought this was the Fiend's time, and so they were already turning on Rollins. They were booing Rollins. And then they had the match, and a no contest, and a Hell in a Cell match when there's no rules. It's impossible for that type of stipulation to have, or impossible for the match to enter those type of circumstances, is just mind-boggling. WWE overbooking this match, getting its own way, and instead of coronating the Fiend as the next big beast in WWE by giving him a decisive win inside Hell in a Cell for the Universal title over the poster boy of the company, Seth Rollins, they get in their own way, ended in a no contest, and the crowd was not happy. I was not happy. Crowd was chanting AEW, restart the match. After the show, they were chanting they wanted a refund, but the show was not over at that point. So while the crowd's booing and saying restart the match, chanting AEW, they raise up the cell. They get a stretcher in there. They're putting the Fiend on a stretcher. Rollins comes over and leans over like he's about to say something to the Fiend. The Fiend just grabs him in the mandible claw, starts choking him out, hits him with the Sister Abigail. Then they go outside the ring, and the Fiend removes the padding from the concrete. Hits the Sister Abigail on the concrete. It puts Rollins in another mandible claw, and Rollins is spitting up blood at this point. And that's how the show ends. So yeah, a lame finish. The crowd was booing this finish nonstop, and they rightfully should have. This was a bad way to end the match. They were building the Fiend so well, and then they just drove this match into the ground with the stupid red lighting. The way it ended, it was just bad way to end the show. If they knew that was how they were going to book that ending, put that on first. Say Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks toward the end. Yeah, because Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks tore the house down. Match of the night. Rollins versus The Fiend. Worst match of the year. Worst booking decision by WWE in a long time. And yeah, so AEW got the win on Sunday night during Hell in a Cell without even broadcasting a show. Yeah, that was Hell in a Cell in a nutshell, 2019 edition. If you like this video, feel free to get a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Check out my website, cincyfanzone.blogspot.com. Give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram. Both of those are at Cincy Fan Zone. As always, guys, thanks for watching.